afternoon and welcome to our flagship program, Avant Garde, where we come to showcase digital, upwardly mobile, and innovative youths. On the program today, we'll be interviewing two distinguished IT consultants, EDWIN OMORUI and OLUFEMI OJEI. The first question will go to Mr. OMORUI. We know right now Nigeria is at the verge of the general election coming, and we know how important IT is to our society and general life currently. And with the 2020 general election just around the corner, and we've had so much of the use of beavers. We want to get your ideas. We want to share your experiences, your insight with us on how you think our society can be able to blend this new technology and have a successful general election. So please, we want to get your general opinion on the IT industry in the country.
Okay, in regards to the deployment of the device technology by INEC, I think it's a step towards the right direction because, of course, we'll give kudos to Mr. President for making sure that the electoral law was signed, and at least for the first time in Nigeria, we should be expecting a technological driven election where we're going to be rest assured that the technology will be able to do justice to our electoral process. Thank you.
Uh, there's this general opinion that IT services and training in this country is very expensive. That youths, especially youths like many of us who know are youths, don't have the financial means and wherewithal, to be parts of such facilities and trainings and make use of them, to make a living. What would you say about it?
Okay, it's a general notion that IT is very expensive. Yeah, of a truth, as a consultant, I will tell you that IT is very expensive, and when you have to talk about the IT consultancy field, I will always tell people the sky is our limit. But having said that, the IT knowledge is open source. How do I mean by open source? With the simple of googling, you have YouTube and all of those things. A lot of informations are out there for you to learn without you paying a dime. But most times, going for the certification and all of that, of course, is quite expensive. But basically, a lot of IT skills are all open source. So you can get trained in every area of IT, irrespective of the field you want to go into, whether data analysis, cyber security. Of course, there are a lot of information you can get there open source.
So do you mean that I can get this knowledge free? But what is the use of the certification? Do I need to have the certification for me to cash in on it?
Okay, no, the certification is just to certify you that it's just for an institution to certify you that this thing you claim that you know, you're actually good at it. So this certificate comes from industry experts who can be able to say, okay, fine, what you've been able to do just to certify you that you're good. So, but the knowledge is the key thing. Yes. Against the backdrop, the certificate is just to show people that I've been able to get one or two knowledge from this particular field.
Okay. But obviously there have been this general threat to IT architecture. You understand IT infrastructure. We have had this idea of Yahoo boys, people who try to use illegal means, to defraud unsuspecting members of the public. Do you think we have the capacity, the capability to forestall and prevent the occurrences of such uh, activities, without resort to foreign technology or foreign experts?
Mm, the first thing you need to ask yourself is that these infrastructures, where are they developed? That's the first question you should ask. Secondly, as long as we keep having millions and billions of devices connected over to the internet, of course, you cannot totally eradicate cybercrime. But of course, there are some techniques, tools, and advocacy that is out there to enable you to mitigate the harmful effect of a cyber attack. Of course, but there's no technology that can eradicate cyber crime or cyber attack completely.
Let me go to Olufemi.
All right.
Olufemi, I'd like to. There's, uh, if you look at youth empowerment, do you think the government is doing enough to empower the youth by using available IT assets in this country? We know we know there's a growing unemployment in this country that has persisted for too long. Do you think government has the knowledge or government understands the potential of IT to be a source of employment provision for the youths?
Okay. Thank you very much for that question. I'll say it's yes and no.
Okay.
Now, yes, in the sense that the government has created enabling environments for us to be able to thrive, for youth to be able to thrive. Now, talking about the use of YouTube and all of that, I could remember when the government had to stop Twitter from functioning. That was to curtail some of the excesses of the youth. But when it comes to empowerment, no, in the sense that governments have not been able to encourage youth. Now, let's take it all the way down to our educational system, like starting from secondary school. How many labs do we have in our secondary school?
Computer labs.
Computer labs. How many do we have? How many of them are functioning? Now, going back to our university, now we still see youths come to go to several centers like computer IT centers to like they go to NeoCloud, for instance, now to learn, and we've seen a lot of them come, and the knowledge they have is very poor. Why? Because the educational system is not encouraging. You go back to our university system, there's lots of strikes here and there and all of that. So how is the government encouraging? It means that they are not doing well. Yes, in the sense that, yes, they have created the enabling environments, like the YouTube is available in Nigeria and all of that. Of course, the government does not own the YouTube. The Nigerian government does not own it. But the fact is that at least there's a whole lot happening there. There's a whole lot happening on YouTube. And going back to our secondary school, the children there, the university, when you go to the university, you see that our youth, they are not doing well because they don't have access to this thing. Now, talking about internet, they don't have internet penetration in those places. Then, when you go to university, how many of our universities are equipped with enough internet to be able to thrive?
Okay.
So those are the areas I'm looking at. Now, if you go to university, no good internet. So we have YouTube there, we have social media there, we have a lot of things there, but they are not using them. Why? Because it's not created by the government.
That means you think the broadband policy of the government, the penetration
It's
is
not
sufficient?
penetrating, it's not really sufficient. Now, for instance, if you go to some of the federal universities, these labs are there and they are not functioning. Like I could remember back then when I was in school, we had this lab that the computer lab, but they were not functioning. Why? Because there's a whole lot of the system is corrupt. There's a whole lot of corrupt system. So now, if you have a corrupt system, you have labs, they are not functioning, then the youth does not have tools to work with. So that's the reason for the old Yahoo thing. Guys, they have to do something with themselves.
Okay. Well, let us look at it a little. How do you see computer education or IT education at the university level? Do you think these professors or so-called professors, do you think they have the intellectual know-how or the knowledge, to be good sources of guidance for these people? And do you think there is effective collaboration between those in the ivory tower and independent consultant like you and Godwin?
What I would say to that is that for university professors, I would say that IT is trendy. What do I mean by IT is trendy? It is not
everywhere.
It is trendy in the sense that it's very, very current. You have to use current information. Now, majority of our professors, they know they understand the book, the tech, but they don't understand the technology. Yes, they understand the theory, but they don't understand the practical. So I'm sure Mr. Edwin will be able to talk more on that.
Okay, very good. The first question we should ask ourselves is the work process in the university. How do they work? How do they train? How do they carry out their research? When you've answered those questions, the first question is, how is how do they deliver their lectures? Do they have something where they use the learning management systems? Is that the question? The second question is, how do they communicate in the university? Do they communicate via email? So how well have they been able to adopt and adapt to emerging technology? That's one question. And then two, in our university, people think that the computer science department or the information technology department, they are the ones that are saddled with the opportunity, or they are the ones that are saddled with the responsibilities of carrying out IT related work or task. Knowing fully well that IT cut across all sectors of the economy, from medicine to engineering, even to media, of course. So, first thing first, they have to move from the orthodox way of doing things and embracing the new trend in technology. So, from your basic documents, you're moving to the digital document systems and all of that. So, it has to be a movement. It has to be a movement. Of course, private consultants like us can champion those movements, but first they have to accept it. Against the backdrop of, no, I'm old, technology is this, technology is not secure. No, of course, the beautiful thing about technology is that it's a movement. Whether you like it or not, it is definitely going to take over our ecosystem.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not. Of course, now just take a look at what is happening in our banking sector. Whether you have a mobile phone, you don't have a mobile phone, you are now forced to make transactions via the electronic space. So if you don't know it, you pay for it. So that's how it works. So basically, in our university system, we've not been able to adopt it, but it's a movement. Whether I like it or not, it's like the wind. Whether I like it or not, you're going to feel it. Yeah. So it is best. So the best time for you to embrace it is now. So whether I like it or not, it is a movement, and it's definitely going to revolutionize how we do it.
Do you think the leadership of these institutions are forward-looking in that regard?
Of course, definitely. Of course, there are some programs, grants, and all of that. Of course, mind you, we are moving towards the e-government.
Okay.
We are moving towards e-government
system.
Yes,
yeah.
E-governance system. Whether I like it or not, like I said, it is a movement that have come to stay in Nigeria. Whether you like it or not, we are good to go on that.
But do you think the government of the day has incorporated sufficiently this IT system in order to deliver effectively public services?
Of course.
Because we have seen some of these movements, I think, in the health sector. I think I don't know if it is sufficient.
Okay. So this is where we have to give kudos to the Honorable Minister of Communication and Digital Economy. Yes, Professor Issa Ali Patami. He has done great work.
Okay, we'll be going for a short break right now. When we come back, we'll continue our discussion with EDWIN OMORUI and Olufemi Ojei. Thank you.
The Gen YZ trendsetters, pushing new ideas, redefining the present, architecting the future. They are radical, innovative, unconventional, disruptive yet focused. They cut across gender, creed or cradle, and are found in every sphere of life, every field of human endeavor. They share certain values, paramount among which is a desire to shake off orthodoxy and to impact positively on the society. Failure is alien to their imagination, I can imagine. Success is the key substance of their DNA. The big question is, how big is the success? How profound is the impact? Avant Garde, our True Vision, will explore the world of these era-defining trendsetters and situate them within the broader dynamics of an ever-changing world. Welcome to what promises to be an exciting excursion into what can be considered as the mind of the future.
Okay, welcome back to Avant Garde with my guests. Both of them are here. I believe you're enjoying the conversation. We'll continue from where we stopped. So thank you. You were talking about Starlink.
Yes.
The Minister of Information Communication, Pantami.
Yes, so far so good. We've been able to do a lot, from the broadband penetration to the digital literacy training to the establishment of the Nigeria Data Protection Right. So a lot of government policy has actually come in to help us as a consultant and also as indigenous company. So right now we can raise our shoulder high to say that we are indigenous IT company because the government has given us the enabling environment to be able to practice our profession and be able to carry out job and consultancy service both for government agencies and private institutions. So far so good. We'll give a thumbs up to the government of the day for a good job in terms of pushing policies, creating policies that will help indigenous IT companies.
There are some people that are also talking about, if we look at the effective utilization of this technology, to carry out such public services like, I think the registration, national registration, and the voters registration, and even if possible, the population commission. You understand, if they can employ this IT, to streamline registration for these processes. How do you see it? I mean, the National Identity Management System and the PVC registration. When you want to register for a PVC and identity, you don't have to go and queue up on a long line. You just go through the system, the internet, and you connect. You think I can do it?
Okay. When you're talking about such technology like the NIMSI system, one thing you must put into account is it enables biometrics. So if you have to do it over the internet, so how can I capture your biometrics? Let's say for instance your fingerprint.
But I thought they do it with NECO. NECO have been doing something like that you have to go to the center and they have the biometrics.
You have to go to the business center.
So whether you like it or not, there must also be a physical hardware device to capture your fingerprint is important.
A component
separate from so no matter how you want to beautify technology, no matter how you want to make technology robust, but at least your fingerprint has to be captured. So that's why you see most times you have to queue on the line to be able to get all of this. So what we'll have to advise the government is that let them see how they can create more centers so that you don't have people queuing the whole day just to get them captured. It's just for government to increase the number of centers, the number of organizations or vendors who can assist the government in doing these capturing and biometric processes.
That's true. Another thing they can do to that is that they can have a public-private partnership where you partner with private institutions. Then you give them the gadgets. You have some kind of MOU with them. Then they can use their centers to run such the capturing and all of that.
So I think
that will work if they have a partnership with private organizations.
But how do you see qualification for entry into the IT industry?
Qualification. For me, I would say IT industry is huge. The industry is very. If you're not careful, the industry will swallow you. You just have to take it in small chunks. So it's a step by step. Now, talking about qualification is not necessary. It's all about what you know, and ability for you to have the zeal. Now, what is the zeal? Having a passion for IT, because I know that for me, I don't have any IT background, but I see myself doing IT. So I just found myself over the years because I know that I've done few things, and I did research online. Thank God for YouTube. Now, YouTube is a place where you can learn anything. I always tell somebody, if you want to learn nobody should have an excuse not to know how to cook. Because if you don't know how to cook, go to YouTube. You can even learn how to make amala on YouTube. Why? Because YouTube is there for you. So, like you rightly said, Mr. Edwin, he said something. He said, IT is open source. You can learn anything. So, talking about qualification is very, very important. You have to go to school to learn. But then you don't have to depend on your certificate because certificate is just a paper. It's what you have in your head that is very, very important. So with time, you have to be doing research. You have to be learning because, like I always tell people that we consult for, I always tell them, you're not, what we teach you is not, you're not limited to what we teach you. You can go and learn on your own. Do research. Learn more. What we teach you is just to guide you because IT is very, very broad. So you have to keep learning. It's a continuous process.
I think I don't know if I should give you the question, but want to ask this question. Do you think, we know right now Nigeria has been suffering an unemployment crisis, a persistent one, that we cannot even conceive an end in sight. Do you think the growing IT industry has the capacity to absorb this
More than
massive
enough. More than enough. I always tell people that with IT, you don't have excuse not to be employed. For instance, take digital marketing, for instance. People come and they learn digital marketing, and with digital marketing, you're on your own. You can work for yourself with digital marketing. You can be your own boss. You can manage your own business. That is just an aspect of IT. That is just
you don't have to sell any physical product.
You don't have to sell any.
Sell people's product.
You can even sell people's products with. All you just need is know how to connect to the person that owns the product. You just need to have idea of where the product is available. For instance, now I know somebody that can sell this a shoe. I don't need to have the shoe in my house. All I need is where to get the shoe from and connect the person selling the shoe and the person that wants to buy the shoe. I'm the middle person. I get my own percentage for the connection. That is all it takes. So with your channel, for instance, if you have a YouTube channel, you can be creating content. I always say that YouTube has created a job for the youth more than any other government in the world. Why? Because we see a lot of, if you go to Lagos, what they do is just create content. All you need is just a camera. You create your own content. You put it on YouTube. Before you know it, you start making money. And that is for content. How about affiliate marketing? You can do affiliate marketing as well. All you just need is to have a blog site where they have to put what's it called? You generate traffic, and you start using your site to be advertising other people's products. Now, talking about employment, yes, IT can give you more than you need when it comes to employment. Now, people are always scared of IT because they think that when you talk IT, you're thinking of coding. No, there's more to IT than just programming and all of that. There's more to IT. So, because people are always scared. The moment you tell them about IT, it's programming. I don't know maths. I don't know how to program. Like I always tell people, I'm a theater art background. And I'm so proud of my background. But look at it, I've moved from being a theater artist to digital space.
It even makes you more creative.
Exactly.
Because IT is a place for creativity.
IT is the new normal. If we are to take it, IT is the new. Whether you like it or not, everything you do from your house all the way down to your office is IT. Now we're talking about smart homes, which is IT. So the little gadget you have in your hand, the phone that you have in your hand is IT, because it will come to it. We're almost there. You cannot do anything without having a phone. Now, take for instance, when you get back home, do you turn on your TV or you turn on your phone?
You turn on your phone.
That is IT for you. That is IT for you. Everywhere you go now, you speak IT. Everywhere you go, you see IT. So if you don't learn, if you don't move with the trend, it means that you'll be left behind. So whether it's creating job for you or it's not creating job for you, it is what you need to learn.
Okay. Mr. Edwin, I want to ask you one question. How do you see the way we use this technology compared to vis-a-vis other nations that began with us as an independent country like 6 decades ago, the likes of China, India, Japan, and the others? How would you compare us?
Okay. We are trying to adopt this new change. And first thing first that we tend to realize is the mismanagement of technology. Okay. Ranges from cyberbullying to fake news and all of that. But the truth is that when more people adopt technology, when more people know about technology, we can now be able to decipher that, okay, fine, this can do this. So for instance, let's say somebody posted a fake news, a fake picture. You can be able to use fact check to check that information if it's correct. But currently now, we see people post fake news and all of that. You see it's trending and all of that. And people tend to believe it because they've not been able to know how to check those information. So, of course, internet is unique. It also has its own downside. But we are not going to say, okay, for internet, they can use it to hack into my account and all of that. No, of course, it has its own uniqueness. So it's just for advocacy. The more people know about it, the more we tend to limit.
The more they can adopt it and make it work for them.
So, of course, there are a lot of things you can do with the internet. But the question here you need to ask yourself, whenever you're connected to the internet, which is connectivity to the international network, what and what are you doing on the internet? That's the question.
Yeah.
The internet is just like a grocery store. You decide what you want to get from the internet. So I always tell people, what you do in the internet counts. So what do you want to do? Do you want to go read news? Do you want to sell online? So there's a lot that you can do on the internet. So of course, we've not been able to maximize the real import, the potential of the internet. But as time goes on, we'll tend to discover the beautiful thing that we can do on the internet.
Thank you. In that regard, I'll ask you one fundamental question. Do you see leadership as a panacea for development, especially in the regard to IT? Because right now we know we're in the heat of an electioneering season and there's so much talk on leadership that is digital. And we have candidates and all of them are claiming to be digital.
You know, this is the process of, this is the season of elections. So everybody wants to claim the digital space. Of course, you don't expect all of the presidential aspirants or the people who are vying for one position or the other to have this whole idea about the internet. But more often than not, you need the people around them to be able to tell them that, okay, you're going to drive it. Let's say, for example, Mr. Ojei becomes the president and he makes me the minister of agric. Trust me, I'm not going to do well. So sometimes it's not centered around the person that is campaigning.
Mm-hmm.
It's centered around his team. So you have to look at the team that person is surrounded with. So sometimes the leader must know. You don't expect the president to be an IT guru for him to implement policies that is going to favor the IT space in Nigeria. So far so good. Leadership is key, but we need a leader that can be able to appoint people based on credibility against the backdrop of their political affiliations.
You know, in light of the IT explosion in our country and the phenomenon of cyber fraud that has taken over our social space, how do you see the place of value in our society? Because right now we see so many boys resorting to online fraud, you understand, to make ends meet and without scruples or qualms from their immediate family. What's your opinion?
Oh, whether we like it or not, there is a law in Nigeria, which is the cybercrime law.
Yeah.
So
I think it's still an act.
Yeah.
The cybercrime. I think it's still an act. So if I must throw more light on that, right? The society creates the avenue for crime, while the criminals commit the crime. So I tell people sometimes that, of course, they will have the fraudster will always tell you that it is hunger that puts them into internet fraud and all of that.
Yeah.
But if you must ask a very critical questions, of course, I'm not trying to excuse the government of the day from any misdemeanor, of course, because if we have an enabling environment, some of these social vices wouldn't have even come to the fore. But the question I want to ask yourself is that if you actually claim that, okay, fine, that it is hunger, the economy is not good, that pushed you into fraud, let's assume. So let's take it one at a time. Do you know how much it costs to own an iPhone 14 Pro Max? It's running into the millions of naira. You have two. You live in a posh house. You drive a luxurious car. And when you get this ill-gotten money,
yeah,
you don't pay tax to the government. And you're blaming the government.
So you want them to pay tax to the government?
No, you're blaming the government. But now I just highlighted all of this. Of course, there is no, but the truth is this. They're actually killing our economy.
Thank you, Mr. Edwin, for coming, and Mr. Olufemi. It's nice having you both.
Thank you very much.
thank you very much.
Viewers, that's all we have for today. We'll meet you, keep a date with us. We'll meet you same time next week.